Facebook. Hi, everybody. This is Joella Newman. I have taken a little hiatus in the past few weeks with some issues I'd been having. So we're back. I'm so excited. And I can't wait to introduce you to this woman tonight. I had the chance of getting to meet her through another mutual friend, and we hit it off immediately. And I said, oh my God, I have to have you on my show. People have to hear your voice, your message. So let me tell you a little bit about her. And as you know, this is called Entrepreneurs on the Rise for a reason, although she's probably already risen, and just is out there and doing really phenomenal things. But Racquel Walters is a two-time best-selling author, woo, speaker, serial entrepreneur, career and relationship consultant of La Ura. Did I say that right, Raquel?
You did.
Ah, cool. La Ura Incorporated, a business and life consultancy business. She's also a licensed medical social worker. I probably love her because of that. And therapist who has worked in one of the top hospitals in New York City, helping hundreds of patients to improve and navigate their life and workplace challenges. She does this through counseling, strategic planning, teaching effective communication skills, priority management, which I think everybody needs, productivity improvement, everybody needs, corporate training, they all need that, advocacy and empowerment. In addition to this, Raquel is uniquely qualified to analyze corporate training needs. So if you've got any CEOs out there, share this with them, and design trainings that work for employers and the employees. She has worked with different diverse backgrounds and cultures and brings awareness, understanding, and effective strategies to her customized training packages to ensure results. Her first best-selling book is Ideal Career, Ideal Life, Strategies to Live Your Life Fearlessly. Known to have thought-provoking and inspiring discussions around business, relationships, and life, Raquel hosts the Your Purpose and Business podcast, where she connects her audience to creating entrepreneurial possibilities for themselves. Raquel's mission is to help more millennials accelerate their career and life goals faster by doing work they love with a focus on creating multiple income streams so that they can live out their purpose. So let me, without further ado, welcome Raquel. Welcome to my show on Wednesday nights. I'm so
Thank you
happy to
so
have you
much.
here.
Thank
You're
you so much,
welcome.
Ellen. I'm so honored, and it's a pleasure to be on here with you tonight and to be able to, speak with you and share everything with your audience. So you can go ahead and ask me anything you need to ask me.
I love it because I think you are so needed right now, especially in the corporate world, especially as we have this whole paradigm shift from people working in a corporate environment and now working at home. And I'm sure, having been a vice president myself, there's a little bit of jitterness of that lack of control, right? And yet they just have to trust. They have to trust. I mean, obviously, you have to have metrics in place. So, what I like to ask my guests, and then I want you to go through everything, but tell us more how you got into what you do now. And when you first, because being a serial entrepreneur, you've done it successfully more than once. Tell us one of the biggest challenges that you've had as an entrepreneur that might help someone listening to this live or this replay so that they can, like, oh my God, I've experienced that. Raquel did this, maybe I can try it too. So as an opportunity to kind of like help them.
Yeah, that's a great question, Joe Ellen. One of my biggest challenge thinking about that question is knowing when to pivot, right? We're in
Oh,
pivotal times, like you just said, there's a lot of uncertainty, there is a lot of chaos, confusion, even not even on a business level, but life in general, right? And so one of my toughest challenge was when to know when to pivot and when to see whether it's a business venture that is probably it's dissolving, or where is the opportunity where I can upgrade, where I can innovate.
Mhm.
And so for me, it's knowing, and sometimes you never get it right as an entrepreneur, and I'm sure you can relate. It's sort of knowing how to look into the future, so to speak,
Right.
but also paying attention to what's going on in the marketplace. What are people
Mm.
asking for? What do they want?
Right.
Listening to your potential customers, depending on the markets you're in, right?
Mhm.
And trying to make sure that you are solving those problems and you're addressing those needs. And as we know, as entrepreneurs, we have to constantly innovate. We have to constantly, we're in the customer service
Right.
business. So you
Right.
have to please and you have to serve your customers.
Right.
So it's a challenge, but when you look from it from another perspective, where what is the opportunities here, then
Uh-huh.
it's like the doors open up and you're able to service more. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So with that, did you have to pivot something specifically at like earlier this year in your business? Because I
Yeah.
knew, you work with clients, at helping their careers or in the corporate environment. Was there something that you personally had to shift with?
Yeah, definitely. I remember at the tail front of the pandemic, I just came up ended a contract with a small party rental company where I went
Mhm.
in and I was helping the CEO to train his staff on customer service,
Mhm.
working with them too on streamlining some of their structures, their systems as it relates to how they operate day to day, just streamlining that process for them. And then the pandemic hit,
Right.
and there's other things I was working on, pitching other companies, because pitching is a part of the process. A lot of
Right.
entrepreneurs fail to do that in order to
Right.
get contracts. But I had some opportunities, that's in the process, follow-up calls, Zoom meetings, and all of a sudden the pandemic hit, and then the world went into a pandemic, right?
Right.
um, and those things had to be put on pause.
Right.
Meanwhile, for me, I had to shift gears, just as maybe many other people that are listening, your audience, that probably have a business that is making money, or probably in that growth process where they are seeking out new customer base,
Right.
where I had to figure out what was my next move, because
Right.
I can't go in because of the pandemic to do my trainings, which I love to do on a corporate level.
Right.
But how can I innovate? How can I take a detour? I'll use that word,
Right.
and kind of put that on pause until we figure out what is the best way now to go in and serve, whether it's going to look like Zoom,
Right.
virtual, right?
Right.
um, and pivoting, okay, how can I help persons working in corporate now on the corporate level to
Right.
navigate not only the workplace, dealing with all that's going on, whether in their life, and also within the workplace. A lot of people got furloughed, right? A lot of
Right.
people are on unemployment, and a lot of people, even if you're able to maintain your job and your paycheck, it just never seemed like it's enough.
Right.
So hearing these cries, said to myself, okay, now it's a perfect opportunity to pivot. Not that I'm still doing corporate trainings, but also how can I target the needs of the people right now, which
Okay.
it's having multiple income streams, because that gives you a cushion
Right.
into feeling comfortable, if I should use that word,
Right.
more
No.
secure, right?
Right.
Especially with everything that's going on, persons are looking, how can I earn more money while
Right.
doing something that I love? So I hope that answered your question. So that for me, that was a major shift that happened in March, and
Mhm.
to what I'm doing now.
Yeah. And I think that's really important. Like, even I've had clients who shifted their business, those who stayed on top of it and said, okay, like one of my clients, she was selling jewelry. And then
Mhm.
she also, because of her pipeline with where she buys her jewelry and everything, she bought masks. And so she sold that in addition to her jewelry. Now she's got these beautiful bling masks and everything. But that was really cool because you wouldn't think that, she's selling jewelry, but then she shifted and she goes, oh, you know what, like you mentioned a few minutes ago, you have to respond to the need of the market, the needs of the people. And that's what she did. And so that really got her through a hump of like, okay, people aren't buying so much jewelry right now because they're not going out, right?
Right.
But I think women always want to feel good and beautiful with more jewelry. But it is key in terms of, how do you think ahead? So when I think about clients, what do you see your business like a year from now? Assuming, let's just play with the idea that we've got this pandemic for the next year. Let's hope not, but let's play with the worst case scenario so that you're prepared. And I love the fact that you said, all right, let's build in some side hustles, because everybody needs security, right? Especially if they're furloughed, especially if Congress doesn't ever get their act together and give us any more, stimulation bills. What do people do, right? First of all, for those of us who have the ability to donate to food banks, please keep doing that. Please keep doing that. For those of us who are activists in some way, please stay engaged. That's a lot going on today, so I won't get into that, but stay engaged and be an activist. But as an entrepreneur, to shift and to create your side hustle, I don't know how you coach your clients, but they might say, just start making jewelry and sell it on Etsy or on eBay, or just different things. I mean, do you ever say, well, what about this? Do you actually guide them through that process?
Yeah, definitely. So the first step is really having clarity on what you're good at. I operate, and especially as a therapist working with patients, I operate on what we call a strengths-based perspective. And so for me, that has carried me throughout my life, and that's how I provide support and counseling to my patients. It's okay, what are your strengths here? And getting clarity on that. Some people know it right off the top of their heads, others don't. One of my strengths is that I love helping. That's why I entered the field of social work. And it's a part of me. I love to serve. Okay, that's sort of general, right? Because we could argue that we all love to help. We all love to serve others. Narrowing it down, getting a little bit more linear. What are you good at? I mean, are you good with the computer? Do you like design? Do you like jewelry, like your friend has a jewelry business, right? What is it that is effortless to you, that it's not necessarily a skill that you have to go out there and start from scratch to learn,
right?
But that is something that you can strengthen some more. And so let me just use an example. If you know that you are good with, organizing things, maybe organizing somebody's closet, or maybe you're good at tutoring, maybe you love math, and maybe that could be a side hustle where you do online tutoring. Especially right now, schools, many are doing hybrid or virtual schools, where a lot of parents would definitely benefit. Their kids would benefit from a service such as that, online virtual tutoring.
Right.
So that's what I help my clients with, narrowing down what are you good at, what you're good at, and how can this possibly turn into an income stream for yourself. And I use that example of a virtual tutor.
Wow, that's very cool, because
that way, yeah,
and even babysitting. I mean, especially because there's so many single parents out there. I know I was in a CVS one day, and this woman was beside herself. She had a child at home who was on the remote education, the remote schooling, and the teacher kept calling her to say, your kid's not paying attention. And like, she goes, what do I do? Do I go to work to earn money to pay the rent? Or do I go home and babysit my son or my child? And, all I could do was feel for her, because my son's an adult. I don't have that quandary. But so many people out there are struggling like that, right? So all I could do to help her day, I said, is that what you wanted to purchase at CVS? And she goes, yes, I can't do it. I'll get in line. You go first. And I said, no, I want to buy it for you. It's okay. I can't help like as much as I would like that. But if you can help just make somebody's day a little bit better and easier. But the truth is, being a remote teacher or, just almost a guide, while they're on the educational process. So, because I know I used to work in the educational system, I would do adult ed classes, right? On infinite possibilities. I taught doctors and accountants and things like that. But so you have to go through fingerprinting every year, even though my fingerprints don't change. You literally have to do that every year, right? It's so funny, but they're very strict. So in order to get people, who certified as a teacher, you have to go through all this bureaucratic process. But you can also be that side hustle of, all right, I'll be there just to oversee, even if it's $5 an hour, it's still $5 more. Maybe
Right.
it's probably more, I don't know, but it's still $5 more than zero. Right.
Right.
And I think that's how we all have to look at things today. I agree so much with you, Raquel, is, thinking outside of the box of something you might never do, but harnessing what you already know.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Using the knowledge and the skills that you have, and that doesn't mean that you're not going to be learning more to strengthen. You should, to keep up to date, but focus on your strengths, what you're good at, and
Right.
then see how you can turn that into another income stream.
Wow. And so how did you get to the point of, writing your book, the ideal career, the ideal life strategies? What were some of the strategies? Because I have to say, I haven't read the book yet. I would like to get it and
Yes.
read it. But, to really marry, okay, this is what you want, or what you think you want, right? Because sometimes people aren't quite clear. So how do you get that to really live that juicy life? And I think that's why I loved you, is that you had this passion that came through clearly on camera, and also knowing that you're a licensed clinical social worker. Those people are special hearts, and I mean, truly,
Thank you.
but to help people marry that and to put a book together and say, all right, let me give you a path here.
Yeah.
So what were some of those strategies you wanted to highlight?
Yeah, there's a little back end story. I never thought that I would even become an author. So, 2 years ago, I decided that I'm gonna write a book because I saw that there was this underlying theme with the women that I was working with, the one-on-one, and also in my former group program. And I saw that many of these women, they're in corporate, and they weren't happy with the path that they have taken. Some of them wanted to elevate within the corporation they work for. They wanted a promotion. They wanted to sort of figure out how to navigate the system, while others wanted to start a business.
Right.
But there was this underlying theme where a lot of persons were doubtful. They just didn't have faith in themselves.
Right.
They were fearful on taking next steps. And
Right.
so the book essentially is also a reflection of my life and
Mm-hmm.
what I went through navigating the healthcare field fresh out of college,
Mm-hmm.
coupled with my former clients, their stories and how the program had helped them to um, continue that path of the pursuit of either starting their business or having that courage to move on to a new
Mm-hmm.
job for those who wanted to stay working a 9 to 5 job. And so the strategies in this book is real. It's not made up. It's me. It's also my clients and their journeys, and it is for any. The book primarily is about women, but men can relate as well. It's primarily about how do you navigate this thing called life,
Mm-hmm.
and what are some of the obstacles and challenges that maybe you've been through, or others that resonate with you, and to read these challenges and obstacles and saying, oh, I can identify with this person's story, or this person's story is similar to mine. Maybe if they were able to do this, then maybe I can try this as well. So one of the strategies I wanted to go in, and everything is about awareness, right? And I think that that is the first step to start whenever you are faced with a challenge and obstacle, whether you're feeling overwhelmed or uncertain about things in life.
Right.
And I talk about mindset shifts a lot because it does start in the mind. After all, I am a social worker. So
Right. Right.
I'm very much psychology based. I study behaviors. And so you really want to figure out, okay, what's going on in the mind? What is your belief system, right? Because my belief is that if you're saying things to yourself, like, I don't think I can do something, or I don't think I can take this next step or take this next action, then you're probably right, right?
Right.
So it starts with your belief system. The second thing is identifying, okay, what are the steps that I need to take in order to get some results. So
Right.
for myself, I use myself as an example. I remember when I graduated fresh out of college, and I happened to land a part-time, what they call temporary
Right.
position, job for a few months within one of the top hospitals in New York.
Right.
And I was there. I started doing the administrative work for one of the heads in a department there. And me coming fresh out of college as a young millennial, this is like the real world I'm entering into. It sort of felt like, it's a dog eat dog type of world, and I felt really out of place. And months after, I quickly got an offer to stay on full time from one of the directors there, because they liked how I work. And immediately I started getting backlash from the persons that were working there. Raquel, who do you know? And some of us been waiting for this position, because the position was a part of a union. It was a union job. And many persons felt as if they were there for many, many years. And how come this new girl coming into this place and got this offer, and all of that stuff. And it really broke me down. I had to learn how to speak up for myself. I had to learn how to ignore the naysayers.
Right.
I also had to learn how to build confidence. And through doing that, I share this story a lot. It wasn't easy. However, I had to realize that in order for me to excel in the job, to build my competency in the job, I was doing the work, but there obviously was more that I needed to learn and grow. Then I needed to speak up, ask for help, and then I needed to write things down. And by doing those things and building relationships, even though there were people that didn't like me, but I somehow found the strength to sort of ignore that, and then put myself in positions with persons who I could learn from and build and strengthen those relationships. That's when I was able to thrive even more in the job, build my confidence and my competency even more.
There are so many kernels in what you just said. One, there's so many there. So I would recommend everybody reading this book, because there's so many. First of all, when to know it's time to move on if you're in a job, okay? And even though that might be difficult right now from the pandemic, that's a critical question. But then that you started as a temp, all right? So for those of you who are furloughed or just in a quandary about what to do, work at a temp agency. You never know when it could become as a full-time position. And what you did at the core of everything is, even though you had contrast coming to you, you had naysayers saying, oh, how did she get it? And also it can be difficult, in a environment with everybody's expecting a certain position, and you're working within a union environment, and it's like, well, why, and all those psychodynamics behind it. But what you did is really, really key. You checked yourself. It's like, all right, I want this job. I deserve this job. You got it because you earned it. But you built your confidence. You built relationships in the midst of that chaos. So you almost like, this is not about me. This is bigger than me. And so
Yes.
pulled in people that, okay, maybe I need to learn more too. But you did so many things simultaneously that really helped support your continuing in that position and making a success out of something that was initially just temporary, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes. It was
pretty, that,
temporary.
yeah, that's pretty powerful. So I think that, those are really key lessons for people, that when you're, especially right now, when you're clueless about where do I go next, what do I do, start with a temp agency, and if you sometimes it's just working as as an assistant, a virtual assistant, or just putting it out on Facebook. Hey guys, I need a job. What do you think? And things like that. I mean, I think networking is really powerful when it's done well. It's not, it is a strategy, right? And we have to network online these days because we can't be in person as much as before. But I think that ability to, it's, I almost don't like the word networking. It's really about building relationships,
Right.
right? It's not just, okay, oh, I need to meet this person and let them know what I'm doing and this and that. It's really an exchange of your services, of your gifts. This is what I know. This is how I can be in service to you, and share more with me about what you know and what you do. And so I think those are really key elements, in terms of just who you are and how you positioned yourself.
Mhm.
So looking at, succeeding, it is about positioning, like as if,
Yes.
and it sounds manipulative, but it's not.
No,
It's
it's not.
simply, it's not at all. It's simply an opportunity to say, I want to serve in this industry, and so I want to be able to meet, these people and be able to provide them the service that they need too, with my skill sets. And that all was a very cool fit. Very, very cool.
Absolutely. I mean, I wrote in my book about the chameleon effect. And for
Oh,
many persons who don't know the chameleon effect, it's psychology based. Basically, it's that you are um, adjusting and conforming or changing. It's sort of like the chameleon lizard with the different
right,
colors.
right,
And how if the chameleon lizard were to be on a tree, a green tree, they'll turn green.
right.
However, I talk about the chameleon effect with a twist on it. Is not necessarily picking up other people's behaviors,
Right,
mannerisms, and camouflaging yourself.
right,
My definition of the chameleon effect is that how do you position yourself, right, on
right,
a true basis. You're not gonna do
right,
it with just going in because of your own needs. It's about
right,
service.
right,
What It's a win-win situation here.
right,
So how do you position yourself if it's that you're asking for help within your job, or you're asking for help for whatever else in life? Let's just keep it general in life.
right,
um how can you bring or provide value to that person,
right,
and how can that person provide value to you?
right,
So it's a win-win. It's
right.
collaborative, if that makes sense.
It
And my
absolutely.
belief in how you should approach life. We all should approach life,
Right,
you know.
right.
Yeah.
That you hit it on the head so much better than the way I said it, because I do believe it is a collaborative exchange of skills, of thoughts, of activities, and I think that's really, really key. So is there, we've got a few minutes left, on entrepreneurs on the rise, and if there's, anything you'd like to promote at this time, in terms of your book or your podcast. I know you've got a lot going on, so, and it's all exciting. So,
It's
or even how to reach out to you if somebody wanted to be coached.
Yeah, definitely. I have a podcast, Your Purpose and Business podcast, and would love to say that Jo Ellen has been interviewed, so her
Yes.
episode will be releasing soon. So definitely check that out. But it's a podcast that really targets opportunities, learning from persons such as Jo Ellen, who has been successful in
Mhm.
business, and also how she was able to navigate the corporate world, becoming a VP as well.
Right.
Valuable information. You can all find that on RacquelWalters.com. So that's Racquel.Walters, sorry, WALTERS.com. And definitely go there. I have some upcoming programs coming up for how it is that you can also add additional income streams to your 9 to 5 job. And if it's that you want to take on this venture, you know, which is amazing, and I totally encourage this, because what a time to be alive, to be able to service and utilizing your skills, and being able to serve others and making an income from it. So you can find everything about me on RacquelWalters.com.
Okay, perfect. I posted that on Facebook so that people will have that. And you guys, I will upload this to YouTube as well. So if Facebook pulls it, you know, after a day or two, whatever they do, I'll have it on YouTube as well at Joellen Newman. So this is so cool, because I can't wait to read your book now. It's now, you know, it's the next thing I buy. I'm working through 2 or 3 books right now, but within a week, I'm going to buy yours because I definitely want to read it. So you guys, I think these are really key skills that as you want to move through your career or grow your career, or frankly, get back to a career and earn money right now, know yourself, check out your own personal skills, even though they may not be work skills, have some confidence. And if you don't have confidence, find a way to build it. Both Raquel and I are coaches, but Raquel focuses in on the career. And, you know, just so many key elements. Know when it's time to say, let go and move on to something else. That's key too. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this interview. Next week, we'll have another entrepreneur. And Raquel, I loved having you here. This is great. I can't wait for your next book. I will just say that I think there's going to be another one in the future coming from you. So
Well, yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Joellen.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.